So I'll be remaking my skull video just to make sure it goes through this time correctly. I'm not sure what happened the first time, but here's my little. Okay, so I'll get started naming these parts. So right here we would have, let's see, the frontal bone right here. And this would be the core friend, Rupert. And here's my list from what was on Blackboard. So I'll go ahead and get started and I'll zoom in a few moments. Suture right here. Now this would be considered the parietal bone right here. And then the squamous suture, which would be right here. Let's see, it's adjusting, sorry. And then the temporal bone, which would be right here. Now this would be the sphenoid bone right here. And then let's see, the occipital bone, which would be right here. And the lambdoid suture, which would be, let me see if I can zoom in, right here. This suture area. Now the mandibular condyle, which would be, let's see, right here. And then the zygomatic arch would be, let's see, right here. And then the coronoid process. Okay, so I've got better lighting, so I'm not using my flash. But this is the zygomatic arch. The coronoid process would be right here, within that area. Now, under here, this little area right here, where the tip of my pencil is pointing at, that would be the styloid process, and the mastoid process would be within this area. And then moving towards the front, we've got the mandible right here, and then the mental forum, which would be this little, this is the mandible, and this is the mental forum, and that would be that little indentation right there. Then we've got the maxilla right here, the zygomatic bone, which would be this area, and then the ethmoid bone, and that'll be a little bit more towards in the eye, and I'll get to that in a moment. Maybe I should go ahead and start moving this. Okay, there we go. So we can, and again, this whole area itself is the frontal bone. Then we've got the supraorbital forum, which would be right here. Then we've got the coronal suture, which you can faintly see right here. We've got the optic forum, which should be right here in this area. Then we've got the superior orbital fissure, which would be somewhere within there, but I think in this eye it's a little bit better. That little, let's see. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there we go. That fissure. And then this hole itself, it's the orbit itself. Then we've got the nasal bone, which was right here. And then looking into that, we've got the ethmoid bone, which would be, let's see, right there. Then we've got the vomer, which is right here. This area right here. And that would all be considered the nasal septum. Then we've got the nasal cavity, and that would be right here. Okay, and finishing up with this front, we've got the inferior orbital fissure, and like I said, that was on the bottom, towards the bottom. Concha, which we've already discussed, which should be somewhere in here, not the bone, but like somewhere within there. Ooh, there we go. And then the concha, which we've already discussed, which should be somewhere in here, not the bone, but like somewhere within there. Ooh, there we go. And then the inferior nasal concha down here, and then towards the up would be the middle nasal concha. Okay, maybe this will make it a little bit clearer. Okay, so this is the inside of the skull, and again, this is the anterior cranial fossa right there. Then we've got the sphenoid bone, which would be this area. Then we've got the forum rotundum, and that would be the first little hole up here. Then we've got the forum ovale, which would be the second little hole, which I think would be considered this area. Then we've got the forum spinosum, which would be the last one. Then we've got the middle cranial fossa, which would be this whole area itself. The internal auditory canal, which would be somewhere down here. Now the forum magnum, that would be this little whole area, is this. Okay, so finishing up, and this would be with the right side of the skull that I'll be doing. This up here, somewhere up here, would be the frontal sinuses. But going down, the middle portion, let's see if I can zoom in. Yeah. So this up here, this middle portion itself, it should be a line running through there. That would be the crista galli, and the cerebrum plate, which would be the one surrounding it, would be somewhere, let's see, somewhere down here. The optic forum, which would be up here. Then we've got the sella turcia, and that would be within this area. The keratoid canal, which would be around here. The temporal bone, again, that would be somewhere around here. The jugular forum would be one of these little holes in the back. And the hypoglossa canal, that would be the one surrounding this area. But that line right there that cuts right through the middle, that would be considered the incisive fossa. Fossa. Then the palatine process of the maxillary bone, that would be the upper portion of it, but towards the back would be considered the horizontal plane of the palatine bone. And then if you move to the side, because it's right there, then the external auditory bone, or would be that right there.